PowerLinux is the combination of a Linux-based operating system running on IBM Power architecture technology. It is often used in reference, along with Linux on Power, to Linux running on Power-based systems from IBM, and it is the name of several Linux-only Power systems. Overview. PowerLinux is the result of uniting high-performing Power architecture with the open-source Linux OS. The combination produces a customizable system capable of handling large quantities of data more efficiently without the need for additional hardware. IBM Power processor-based systems offer reliability, availability and serviceability characteristics that are not commonly found in server families running the Linux OS, and provide mission-critical applications a higher level of support than other 32 or 64-bit Linux environments. PowerLinux systems include Power Virtualization built into the system. PowerV is designed to pool resources and optimize their use across multiple application environments and operating system instances. This increases server efficiency by creating higher utilization per core and more throughput per server. IBM and Linux. In the late 1990s, IBM began considering the Linux operating system for its potential for open innovation. In 2000, IBM announced it would embrace Linux as strategic to its systems strategy. In 2001, IBM invested $1 billion to back the Linux movement, embracing it as an operating system for IBM servers and software. Within a decade, Linux could be found in virtually every IBM business, geography and workload, and continues to be deeply embedded in IBM hardware, software, services and internal development. IBM is consistently among the top commercial contributors of Linux code. A survey released by the Linux Foundation in April 2012 showed IBM as the fifth leading commercial contributor over the past 7 years, with more than 600 developers involved in more than 100 open-source projects. IBM established the Linux Technology Center in 1999 to combine its software developers interested in Linux and other open-source software into a single organization. The LTC collaborated with the Linux community to make Linux run optimally on PowerPC, X86, and more recently, the Cell broadband engine. Developers in the LTC contribute to various open-source projects as well as projects focused on enabling Linux to use new hardware functions on IBM platforms. Linux has run on IBM Power systems since 2001, when a team created a new 64-bit port for the Linux kernel to allow the OS to run on PowerPC processors. The first system to fully support the 64-bit Linux kernel was IBM's PowerLinux, created in 2004. It was followed by PowerLinux in 2007 and the current PowerLinux 7-based systems in 2010. PowerLinux servers. Linux was first ported to Power in June 2000. Since then, PowerLinux was used in a number of supercomputers including Mare Nostrum 2004 and Roadrunner 2008. Beginning in April 2012, IBM introduced 3 PowerLinux 7 processor-based Linux-specific systems focusing on solutions for big data analytics, industry applications and open-source infrastructure services such as web serving, email and social media collaboration services. The IBM PowerLinux 7R1 and IBM PowerLinux 7R2 systems are 1 and 2 socket, high-performance rack-mount servers that support either 8 or 16 PowerLinux 7 microprocessor cores in 3.55 GHz or, with the 7R2, 3.55 and 3.3 GHz options with 128 GB maximum memory or 256 GB maximum memory that can be configured with 8, 16 and 32 GB dual inline memory modules. Both systems run industry-standard Linux operating systems. Red Hat Enterprise Linux or SUSE Linux Enterprise Server and include a built-in PowerLinux hypervisor that supports up to 10 VMs per core, and 160 VMs per server. The IBM PowerLinux 7R4 is a PowerLinux 7+ trademark sign processor-based system in a 5U package with 2 or 4 sockets and 16 or 32 cores. It can accommodate up to 1 TB of 1066 MHz DDR3 active memory sharing. PowerLinux dynamically adjusts system resources to partitions based on workload demands across up to 640 VMs per server. In a study on systems and architecture for big data, IBM research found that a 10-node Hadoop cluster of PowerLinux 7R2 nodes with PowerLinux 7+ processes running InfoSphere Big Insights software can sort through a terabyte of data in less than 8 minutes. IBM also introduced the IBM Flex System P24L Compute Node, a Linux-specific 2-socket compute node for the recently announced IBM PureFlex system, which contains 12 or 16 PowerLinux 7 microprocessor cores, up to 256 GB of memory. The option of Red Hat Enterprise Linux or SUSE Linux Enterprise Server operating systems and built-in PowerLinux. In addition to these specific solution additions, Linux is capable of running on any Power Series hardware. PowerLinux versus Linux X86. The April 2012 releases by IBM of its PowerLinux solutions are the first servers designed specifically to optimize the Linux OS on the company's PowerLinux 7-based systems. Unlike servers built on the Intel Xeon processor, an x86 descendant with 2 threads per core, the PowerLinux 7 processor provides 4 threads per core. Power-based servers are virtualized to provide 60 to 80% utilization, compared to a typical 40% rate for x86 processors. The Power Virtualization program has a common criteria evaluation assurance level of 4+, with 0 security vulnerabilities reported, as well as unlimited memory use. PowerLinux distributions. Officially supported distributions are listed here. About Power Virtualization. Power-based IBM systems have built-in virtualization capabilities derived from mainframe technology. On System P, this virtualization package is referred to as PowerV. PowerV includes virtualization capabilities such as micro-partitioning, active memory sharing, active memory deduplication, a virtual I/O server for virtual networks and storage, and live partition mobility. View technical details about PowerLinux here. Systems. Systems running Linux on Power architecture are Amiga 1, Amiga 1X1000, Cell Blade Server from Mercury Computer Systems, IBM Power Systems, JS43, JS23, JS20, JS21, QS20, QS21, QS22, Blade Center, Linux on the PlayStation 3, Pegasus, SAM 440EP, SAM 460X.